Hey everybody, this is Chris, and as you can hear, I have a voice today, so I wanted to take this time to test out my new camera and mostly thank everybody for their support and wish you a Happy New Year. First, I'm shooting this with my new DJI Osmo, and I've got the tracking on now, so you can see it moves. This is the hobby side of the workbench, and then this is the main side of the workbench for all my other stuff that I do. But this is where everything is pretty much shot, besides my dining room table. But hopefully the sound and the quality of this camera is good, and I'll continue using it if so. But back to my giving thanks. I want to thank everybody for their support. Last December I posted my first video on YouTube of last year, and this December, 1 year to the month, I reached my 1,000 subscribers, and I really thank everybody and appreciate everybody who has subscribed. Just this past month alone, I've gotten over 100 extra subscribers or new subscribers, so that's already beating my average from last year, which was, if you figure it out for 1,000, I guess it's like 80, low 80s per month. So off to a good start already, and haven't even hit the new year. The one thing I really want to point out before I go further on with the thanks to subscribers and people in my groups is, if I ever do get anything out of YouTube as far as any type of an income or reimbursement, now that I have ads and such, I would have to do a whole lot of more content to get there. But if I ever do get to that stage, it will go to charity. Especially around this time of year, at Christmas time, kids that are less fortunate. When I used to work for Pepsi, one thing we did is charity for local kids, and bought a whole bunch of bicycles for less fortunate kids. And that's something that I would like to continue on my own, to where I could, some of the less fortunate local kids here in my area could get bicycles, or whatever, anything to make their Christmas happier for them. The other charity would be cancer, not so much cancer research, but probably a donation towards like children's cancer centers, like children's hospitals and stuff like that for cancer. Most of all, any type of charity, if I donate, my focus is towards kids. I've got other charities that I would consider, but kids seem to be the closest to my heart. So that's what I would do if I would ever get to that stage. Just know that it would not be going into my pocket in any way. It would be going to charity, and that would be all thanks to you guys. So thank you again to all of my subscribers on YouTube. I really do appreciate it. I haven't done a whole lot of videos. I think I might have a total of 30 videos I've done. So I'm actually pretty impressed that I've got 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not putting a new video out constantly every week or every day or whatever to try and keep that going. So I'm doing something right. I don't quite know what it is, because I don't usually like half the videos I put out, but I still put them out. And yes, I know I make a lot of mistakes in my videos. I try to find them in edits, but there's always those mistakes that go through, and thank all of you for pointing them out, especially the things that are just the things that are just so petty. The main point in the videos is what I'm trying to show you. not whether I'm saying files versus folders or solder versus solder, whatever you want to call it, Maddie. That one was for you. Maddie, I call it solder. So I don't know what you call it in your form of English, but I call it solder. So that's what I'm going to call it. But other than that, thank you again very much. And the other shout out I want to give is to all the members in my 3 Hubsan Facebook groups. I have 2 small groups. Not a whole lot of interaction goes on in there, but there is some good information. There's very knowledgeable people in both those groups, but a majority of those people are also in my main group, which was my very first group, which is the Hubsan QC Help and Support, same name as this YouTube channel. Man, what a great bunch of guys. Every group has its time where it just kind of hits a lull and just kind of flattens out. But that's good. As far as I'm concerned, everything's going well in the hobby. But then when you get times like now where you've got this new Xeno, you've got some new issues that we figured out with the advanced transmitter that Hubsan kind of sneaked in there, or actually Hubsan wasn't aware about, but I'll talk about that probably in another video. But these guys are great. I'm getting a lot of new memberships here lately, and they instantly come into the group with a question, a need, a problem, and the guys in my group just jump right on it. You don't have the same person hogging every post. There's really no dominant personalities in there that are, my answer's the right answer, or you're totally wrong, or I don't like I don't like that opinion, or what. Everybody just communicates. Everybody is, for the most part, adults and acts that way. Something you don't see in a lot of these groups, and I've pointed out some of my dislikes with a certain Hubsan group. It's the largest Hubsan group from Brian Young, and that's one of the things I don't like about that group. Yes, I do peek in there and check and see what's going on in the community of Hubsan quads and drones, whatever you want to call them. It's not to really spy, but the things that I see in there, it's your exact same people comment on everything, which takes away the voice from the members. I interact a lot in my group, but I usually wait to see if a post doesn't get an answer in a certain amount of time, or sometimes I just don't pay attention and somebody's already answered, and then I go and answer on top of that. But one thing I notice in that group, mainly that group, is it's just the same people. Brian, Peter, Andrew, they answer every single post. It's like the "hey, look at me" group. That's not what this is about. It's also letting your members have a voice, because there's so much talent, and that's what I love about my group. I have so much talent in my group. You got guys that just have amazing backgrounds in this hobby, and incredible knowledge. So that's the voices you want to let shine and make a group what it is, and that's what's so great about my group. So I really want to thank everybody in my groups, mainly the Hubsan QC Help and Support group. You guys are awesome. I'm very proud to have that group and say that I started that group and see what it's grown into. We could have a lot more members, but that's not what it's about. I am totally not about size. In my group, I've made that clear from the start that I don't want to be that super large group. I don't turn people down that want to join the group. There are certain things that will not let you get accepted into the group. And one of those is just, I asked 3 simple questions when you join the group. If you can't answer those 3 questions, you don't get in the group. And the other is if you have a brand new Facebook profile. especially one that has like no pictures, no information, or obviously a fake name. That doesn't get into the group. So I apologize if you're somebody that's new, just starting a Facebook group, but I usually don't let those in. I do try to research those profiles, but if those profiles are totally locked and blocked, then they usually don't get in. That's pretty much all that's going to stop you from getting in. That, and if you're a known person that has a bad reputation in the hobby, I just don't let you in. And the admins that I mentioned, I don't let them in the group either. None of them are blocked, but I just don't let them in. But back to the main thing. Thank you, everybody in my groups. Keep doing what you're doing. We got an awesome year to look forward to. There's still new things that are fresh right now, like with the Xeno. Everybody's waiting for this Fimi X8 SE. I ordered one early as well, and that's going to bring some excitement. I know it's not a Hubsan thing, but that's the other thing in my group. It doesn't have to be 100% Hubsan. You can occasionally talk about another drone. You're not going to get in trouble for that, or I'm not going to delete your post. It's stupid. It's a hobby. This is how you learn. It's not just one thing. I belong to an Infinity group. I have an Infinity Q50. I belong to that group. And what do? We also talk about other similar cars. We talk about BMW. We talk about Mercedes. We talk about Ford, Chevy, whatever. And you're not deleted. So you don't get that in my group. I've never understood that really with other groups. People do complain from time to time if you go off track, but we're not going to do that in my group. So the upcoming year we have the Fimi coming out, and I'm only excited about that because I want to compare it with the Xeno. I think you can see it here, yeah, with the Xeno, and I think that's going to be your closest quad out that you can compare with that. Can't compare it with a Mavic or Spark or anything like that, other than the fact that it folds and has a 3-axis gimbal with 4K camera. But anyhow, I can keep going on and on and on, so I'll stop here. And just saying thank you, everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful new year, and for everybody that is watching this, if you don't subscribe, please subscribe to my channel and join my Facebook group. You'll get plenty of help there, or you can simply join just to help others. And coming up, I have 2 videos that I'm going to be doing next, and those are one is going to be kind of touching base on what I did before, where I made these extension cables. This one's for this one I specifically use for the Hubsan Storm, so I can use it on my balance charger, and this one is for the Xeno, and that's so I can charge that battery on my balance charger. So what I'm going to do is, that brings up a lot of questions when I make a video like that, as far as, or comments, that people just aren't really good or comfortable soldering. So I'm going to do some alternatives to soldering, and the next cable I make will be for the Xeno, but it'll be strictly an extension cable. We're not going to cut into the, where'd it go? We're not going to cut into the Xeno cable itself. This is the Xeno cable, so all we're going to do is we're going to make an extension cable for it by soldering all these together with that. And then you'll have a separate cable that you can plug into, and actually that's the wrong plug in, but you'll be able to plug into and balance charge your Xeno without doing it like this and cutting into this. I prefer this because I like to have just one cable, but those of you who aren't comfortable cutting into this cable, you won't have to, because we're going to do it this way next, and I'm going to show you doing it without soldering. So we have that video coming up, and included in that video I'll show you how to do these little USB chargers where we're going to be cutting off the USB in like I did here, and instead of charging it on your USB ports or your little USB adapters, we're going to hook a balance cable up to this, and we're going to make this a battery or a cable that you can hook up to your say like my iMax V6 charger and do a balance charge. That's for these little batteries here. So that's what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to show you two or three different things you can do without having to worry about soldering. So hopefully that'll be something really informative and help you guys out that don't like to solder, just don't have the stuff to solder. There's some very cheap alternatives that you can afford and buy, and they're very good versus taking and doing soldering. So that's one video to come up, and then another video I'm very excited about is going to be taking the Xeno. I'm going to show you how to crack it open and get into it, but once I show you how to crack it open and get into it, we are going to do the modification to add the XT60 connector to the quad, but I'm going to do it so you can still use the Hubsan Xeno battery, or you can take that out and use this battery, which is pretty much the exact specs, and plug in to your XT60. So we're going to do that modification. I've found a way that I think will work. I haven't tried it or tested it. We're just going to do it on the camera and see if it works. And it'll be a neat mod. It won't be a monster mod where we have a Franken drone. And the best part about that is you can use this battery or the Hubsan stock battery, and this is a like I said, same specs. It's a high voltage LiPo just like this, and remember, this is not a smart battery. This is just a regular high voltage LiPo battery. It's not a smart battery. So basically we're putting in the exact same thing, but we're using XT60, and that way the main reason for this mod is because those of you who can't get the Hubsan Xeno battery in your country, or it's just very hard to get the battery, you have alternatives with a modification like this. So that will be one of my next videos as well. So that video and how to make balance cables, or show you how to, even if you're not making a balance cable, just an alternative to soldering. You will not have to worry about soldering with what I'm going to show you. So those are my next videos coming up, and I don't know when I'll get those done or when I'll do them. It's a busy time of year, and it all depends on how things go. If I have my voice where I'm at with what's going on right now. So I'll end on the note of wishing everybody a happy new year, and once again a huge thanks to everybody for everything you do, from subscribing to helping in the groups. I appreciate it. New members appreciate it. You guys are just awesome. I can't thank you enough. But everybody, have a blessed new year, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.